There she is. How are you?
I'm well. I'm very well. Is anybody going to listen to anything you say or just look at the statue?
Say some things. You're like, oh, Peter, we can't say that. You know what I mean?
Well,
So,
I'm not going to control what you say because Peter, it's about me.
It is. Oh, that's right.
I was scouted by the mighty KFRC AM, and it was life-changing.
Today's guest is someone I've been dying to speak with for a long, long time. I think her name means victorious. Victorious, for whatever reason, also makes me think of gorgeous, and she is that. I hope it doesn't get me canceled. A UC Berkeley alum, huh?
Just keep it going.
A UC Berkeley alum. She's won 2 Emmys, news anchor and SF at KRON, and she is my longest running crush. And I'm talking about Vicki Liviakis. Thank you, Vicki, for taking some time to join me today for a little chat.
Virtual situation. I'm going to just pretend that we're at Kokari, having a great paella.
Yes.
So let's begin right with Steniasis.
So which sorority has the first letter of the Greek alphabet in it? Is it Delta Kappa Delta or Alpha Kappa Alpha?
Maybe the Alpha.
Okay, if you were if you were forced to make out with one of the following 2 Greeks and your life depended on it, would you go with John Aniston or Jennifer Aniston?
Well, I know yet. Well, neither. Well, although, wait a second. No, I'm going to tell you why. Because John, I found out, is my cousin. We were going to talk about serious things, and
we are going to talk about serious things. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I'm just trying to test
just the foreplay part of it.
Who are some of the people that stand out that you've met through the years? I know there's a clip I saw of Robin Williams. Did he come into the studio? Yeah, and he pretended he was like a meteorologist.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Just that experience.
Well, I was asked to riff with Robin Williams we were making a pitch to have the Bay Area as one of the Olympic sites. So they created this whole presentation about San Francisco, and it was based on me as the news person, kind of taking you through stuff. And Robin was my meteorologist, my weather guy. Each time he did it, it was different. And then he would just riff. And I remember in the control room, I mean, I was just dying because he was teeing off on me. And every time that he had to do a retake, we were happy because he would just come up with something new and more bizarre and fun.
This is paradise.
It was probably one of the most profoundly funny experiences I've ever had.
7 degrees on a perfect day, low humidity, no chance of rain. Zip! Nada! None! Absolutamente zero. Stay cool. Vote for San Francisco. You will like it. No más caliente. I am hot. The city is cool. Know me. Call me. I'm not just a meteorologist, my man. Thank you, Vicki. Was that you standing next to me at the urinal? No, seriously. And you, thanks for taking the chance with that makeup today. Meow.
Sweet, funny man, genius, and as we found out later, a pained genius. But I'll never forget.
Vicki, they're back for you.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, I've interviewed like the youngest serial killer in his, on death row in his cell. I've interviewed some big celebrities and powerful, prime ministers and whatnot. But one of the most interesting ones to me was my idol that I arranged to interview Hunter Thompson. So I heard he was in town, but he was holed up. There were some problems because he was a little bit crazy, and he was throwing blow-up dolls out the window. So I managed to get through to him, and I said, I would like to interview you for the show that I'm doing. And he said, well, all right, then come on over and, we'll talk about it. And I wasn't born yesterday, so I'm not going to go to some crazy man's hotel room unaccompanied. So I brought John Gibson, and I used to host a show together. So he came with me, and at least, he was there to witness all the shenanigans and how like over the top this situation was. But when we walked in, Hunter Thompson's buttocks was coming out of the sofa because he was digging around trying to find some drugs. And he said, well, follow me here. And I just come here to the bathroom. I just need, I'm like, I'm not gonna come with you while you're in the bathroom. So I walk in the bathroom. I'm standing by the door just in case I need to make a quick move to get out. There was this Costco size bottle of Jack Daniels in the bathtub, and he pulls out some green grinding thing. I guess, it was cocaine he was grinding up. Put a huge fat line around the toilet seat, and he sat there like it was the altar, crossed legs, and anyway, I ended up getting him to agree to do the interview. So my crew and I flew to Woody Creek in Colorado, and they wouldn't let my crew in. Meanwhile, he has a Gatling machine gun he's playing with. There are guns everywhere. He has shot out the windows of his place. Anyway, I'm just giving you kind of the ramp up to it. And it took 8 hours for me to try to convince him to let in my film crew, because it does me no good to talk with him if I can't, because it's television. So finally, after 8 hours, they were waiting out in the snow, allowed them in, and he gave a terrific interview, and he was just animated and funny and insane. And it's one of my favorite stories. It was a challenge. So interestingly enough, they contacted me later. He and his girlfriend said, hey, we really liked working with you. Would you want to work on Hunter's next book, to be his editor or whatever it is? And I didn't hesitate at all. I said, hell no.
Do you, 8 hours, the cocaine around the toilet. I mean, how do you sort of, is it, I'm going to get this determine this will, like, I will get the story. Like I mean, if people were talking about you, what would be your superpowers? What would they say about you?
Tenacity, stubbornness. Those are Greek traits, by the way, right?
I mean, you're trying to get the story, and then there's a story and getting the story. It makes it kind of magical, If you love stories, all right, you can get a twofer.
Right. And essentially, that's really all we are. We're just storytellers. And then sometimes really, I think that's the most powerful vehicle for people to get out of their mode and their skin and to empathize with someone else. If you can, it's an art form. The worst thing that happened to me when I was anchoring the news in LA, I came in cold because I'd been shooting what they call an enterprise story. It was an investigative piece. And I was doing the 10 o'clock news there, and I got there about 9:45. So I slapped on some makeup, tried to scan the newscast as quickly as I could. And there was a line in there that, someone thought they were clever, and it came out of my mouth. And I wish that it hadn't. It wasn't terrible, but the repercussions were terrible because a viewer, was so enraged by it that they decided to stalk me for a year and threatened all kinds of violence, and I had to have bodyguards and that sort of thing. And obviously his reaction was extreme, but I also felt like I have to own the words if I say them, even if I haven't written them. And once they spill out of your mouth, you just can't really retract them. Hang up on you yet.
Yeah. Hey, don't hang up. Don't hang up. All right. Hold on. Here we go. Who wrote The Apology of Socrates? Was it A, Joseph Smith, B, Plato, or C, Nicholas Sparks?
My first experience with Greek stuff was at my Uncle Louis' restaurant bar, the Balkan Village. And, you know, there were like flaming shish kebabs and belly dancers, and Uncle Louis would do the Zorba dance, you know, knock back an ouzo and pick up a table with his teeth, spin it around, put a customer on top. And I mean, that actually was fuel for the metaphor that Zorba had of, you know, when all else fails, we dance, right? Wasn't that the famous saying he had? So, you know, I think I've carried that with me through thick and thin. But my first trip to Greece wasn't until I was a teenager, in my late teens, and I wasn't particularly into going there. I studied French, and so I wanted to go to Paris, and I had a romantic notion of that, but I went to go see my Aunt Sylvia in Greece, and I remember being out on the water in a ferry boat, and we were in the Aegean, and I remember distinctly the feeling that my DNA just went, ooh, I got it. It was awesome. You know, it's part of me. And I tell people when they go to, there's something about Greece that it's just the stark beauty. The land, it like speaks to you, you know. The water is magic. You know, it's understanding like how you bring someone in and how you really share all the beauty and the bounty that you have. And it always struck me that even some of the people who in my parents' relatives' villages, you know, that they had very little, but they always shared everything they had. My dad's family is from Hania, around Hania, Crete. My mom's family is Keparesia and Corinthos.
Okay, one last one. Who's the greater Greek, Homer or Alex Karras, Webster's dad?
Oh, Homer Simpson.
No, no. Okay, Plilose Tinifi. Does that mean leave the gun, take the cannoli? He's got a huge package, or he paid the bride.
See?
The pronunciation on that wasn't that bad that time, right?
But don't worry, folks, he's here all week.
I think this is going to be a great. I'll probably get a good couple minutes out of this.
Cool.
All right.
Oh, cool. All right. Ciao.
Bye. Which line isn't from the movie Grease? Are you ready?
Yeah.
You're a fake and a phony, and I wish I'd never laid eyes on you. Tell me about it, stud. His first night in the joint, Andy Dufresne cost me 2 packs of cigarettes. He never made a sound. But it doesn't take much to see that the problems of 3 people don't amount to a hill of beans in this crazy world. Someday you'll understand that. You start crying, Vicki. Now, here's looking at you, kid. Do you know what I mean? You got this. It's good. It's good, Vicki.
Yeah.
You know? Huh?
Here's looking at you, kid. You can end it on that. Stevie,